my channel. If you're new to my channel, my name is Karen. You can call me Kay, and I do everything, literally. So if you just happen to stumble upon my channel or this video and you like what I'm all about, please consider subscribing to my channel and hitting that notification bell so that you're notified each and every time I upload a new video. If you like this video, also give it a huge thumbs up. Share it with your friends, your family, and whoever really you think might want to see it. And also comment in the comment section down below with anything really. It will be much appreciated. So today's video is actually an upcycle video. And upcycling is basically using whatever you have at home or things that are considered trash or unusable to make them better or give them that look that you are looking for. So today I'll be sharing with you some items that I had at home that were just sitting, and I thought, why not make them into decor items? And that's what I'll be showing you today. So without wasting any more time, let's get into this video. So for the first project, I'm taking these yellow baskets that were gifted to me on my wedding day, and there's nothing really wrong with them, but this color is not for me. So I first taped off the tops just to protect the tops, because I wanted to spray paint the bottoms in black, and then the tops I would paint them white using acrylic paint. So for this deco book that I'd gotten from Home Decor 254, I decided to spray paint it so that I can get it into a neutral color. And the first thing I did was to tape off the sides of it, which are white, because I wanted to maintain them as white. So I took, once I was done with the prep work, I took my projects outside and spray painted them with a gloss spray paint in black, and this spray paint I got it off Jumia. So I spray painted the basket at the bottom first, and then I'll flip it over and spray paint the insides as well. So I spray painted the book completely until it was completely covered, and that gave me the look I was looking for. Once they were completely dry, I took them back inside and painted the rims of them using white acrylic paint. The initial plan was for me to tape off the bottoms and the insides and then spray paint the rims, but my white spray paint ran out. But this also worked out really nice, and this is the final product. They look really nice, and I'll be styling them on my console table, and this is a video I'll be sharing very soon, how I style my console table, so watch out for that. So the next project was actually my university yearbook. Yes, I graduated in the year 2014, and that is me right there. I graduated with the bachelor's degree in international relations. So the first thing I did was to cover, or rather to tape off the inside pages, because I wanted them to still have a white look once I spray paint the book. And then I joined using a hot glue gun the front cover of the second book and the back cover of the first book together, just to have them as one book instead of two. And then I took this craft paper that I got from Textbook Center, and I used 2 pages of that because the paper was rather light. And then I just covered the book as you'd cover a normal book. I just made sure to add a bit of glue to the corners of the book once it was fully covered. Then I spray painted the cover using a gloss spray paint just to give it a bit of sheen, because the craft paper was looking a bit old. And that is the final look of my books, and I think they make perfect deco books. And for this one, when I was removing the tape off the sides of that deco book, it tore it a bit, but I went back in with acrylic paint and painted it just to make it look better. For this project, I'm using this vase that I got from House of Leather, and this vase I've actually styled it a couple of different ways, but this time I wanted to upcycle it to give it a more textured look. And so I went with this table mat that was rather old and a bit stained, and here I was just measuring it to the vase to make sure that it would fit it, and then I went on ahead to cut all the excess pieces. I then used the hot glue gun to glue the table mat to the vase, and this also gave it a bit of a texture, which I don't really mind, because in the end it will give it more of a character. And I did that, I don't know, maybe because I was stretching the fabric, I ended up with a bit of excess fabric right here, but I still ended up gluing that completely flat, and this will be the back side of the vase. I then decided to spray paint the insides and the bottom just to make sure that that table mat wasn't peeking through, and I also gave it a light coat of spray paint on the top. I then used a white acrylic paint and a brush to make sure that I fully covered that table mat with the white paint, and just to make sure that the yellow, or rather the dark color, wasn't peeking through. And here my little helper joined in and we were doing our thing, and I went on ahead to give this vase a second coat, and it really turned out great. This is how it turned out, and I styled it on my console table with some pampas grass. I'm thinking of adding more pampas to this vase because they don't look as fluffy as I wanted them to be. I've tried fluffing them out, but they're not giving me the look I want. But just look at that texture, guys, it's perfect. For this final project, I wanted to recreate this beaded garland that I created for my reading nook. And what I did is I took these hair beads that I'm upcycling and placed them in skewers, and I gave them a light coat of white spray paint. Also, I couldn't have picked a better day to spray paint outside. It was crazy windy, and I think that's how I ended up wasting a lot of spray paint. But anyway, once they were fully dried and fully covered, I took them inside and I tried making a nude color mix, but what I ended up with was actually a blush pink. This would be perfect for my daughter's room, but where I wanted to use them, I really needed them to be a cream or an off-white color, or almost a natural color of bead. But anyway, I went off camera and mixed again some sorts of paint, and I ended up giving these beads too many coats of paint, but this is the end result and how they look like. I'm using these two types of thread to make my to make my beaded garland. And this one, because it was a bit thinner, I made it, I doubled it 2 times, and then I I threaded in my beads. I just taped off the top of that thread just to make it easier to go through the beads. And then I went ahead to thread all the, I think there were 46 beads that I had lying around, and then I decided to just change them to this. Just make sure as you're doing this that you have some extra thread on either sides of the garland so that you can use them to attach your tassels. And that's how it looked once I was completely done threading all the beads inside. And now I'm gonna demonstrate to you how I made my tassel. So I made sure that the garland was tight enough, and I'd actually started losing some beads there, so I'm replacing them. You need your garland to be tight, but not so tight that it's not flexible. Just make sure that you can wrap it around something if you want to wrap it around an item or a vase, or where you're placing them if you want to wrap them around. So I made sure I open up the last end of that garland, and then using this thread, macrame thread that I got from Builders, I made my tassel. And I'm so sorry, I'm out of view there, but I wrapped it around about 8 times because it was rather thick and I had intended to separate the strands. So once I'd wrapped it around about 8 times, I'll take the ends of this garland and then I'll make my knot to secure the tassel. So what I'm doing here is I'm placing one end of that thread inside the tassel and securing it about 3 times with a very tight knot. And then I'll flip it and make sure that I'm also securing the tops. So I'll make sure that one side goes to either side of the tassel, and then I'll make about 3 knots again, just to make sure that it's pretty secure and that it's not going anywhere. And then I'll cut off those excess ends, and then I'll open up my tassel by cutting off the loops, just to make sure that I have single strands of each thread. And then I'll go on ahead and separate this tassel 3 times to make it more fuller and fluffy. And because this is a tiring job and very time consuming, you need to entertain yourself. So once I was done, I combed them out just to make sure that they were straight enough and that they were all the same length. And then using an extra piece of thread about 10 inches, I just made sure that I extended about an inch over the top of where I wanted my knot to be, and then I made a loop, and then I started wrapping around tightly. So I did that until my thread was almost over, and then I'll insert the end inside the loop, and then I'll pull the top, and then the knot will be right inside that loop. So this is a different technique that I used. The last garland that I made, the one I showed you at the very beginning, I used jute twine and it was rather hard to work with, but this was really nice because this is cotton and you can really manipulate it. So I went and joined both of the tassels, combed them out to make sure I have the same length, and then I went on ahead to trim it. And guys, don't be like me, get yourself a workstation, because there I'm just risking ruining my seats as well, playing with the scissors over my seats. But anyway, so I cut them and they were now the perfect tassels, if I may say so myself. And that's how I styled them over the decor books and around a candle holder. And they look perfect, guys. You could do this, or you could actually go and buy yourself some already made beaded garland, which are also perfect. So I'm planning on doing one more beaded garland that I'll be sharing on my Instagram. So I made a few DIYs. Some were actually thrift flips, and these were just things that I transformed, things that I'd thrifted from Gikomba with Jojo. So if you'd like to see that, definitely go check out my vlog. It will be posted somewhere right here. Definitely go check how I transformed some thrift items with just spray paint. So if you really enjoy this kind of upcycles and thrift flips, definitely let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll be making more, because I have a few other items that I want to transform into decor, and things that I thrifted that I would like to change how they look. So if you really like that, definitely let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll keep them coming. We've made it to the end of this video. If you loved any of the items that I made, tell me which one was your favorite in the comment section down below. That will be much appreciated. So if you really liked this video, give it a huge thumbs up, share it with your friends, your family, and whoever really you think might want to see it. Also, do not forget to subscribe before you leave, and I will really appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time, bye.